Hello game fans and welcome to another video from Gaming Debugged. Now let's get started. Tabletop Racing World Tour has been on my radar for some time due to my interest in Xbox One games for children. Games such as the Crew and Forza Motorsport, they look amazing, but sometimes they fail to hold the interest of the younger players. Couple that with my love of the classic retro racer, Micro Machines, I was extremely excited to get stuck into tabletop racing by Playrise Digital. The team at Playrise Digital was formed by an elite crew that had worked on some of my favourite racing games of all time, including Wipeout, Blur and Project Gotham Racing. In 2013, they released Tabletop Racing 1 on the iOS to a mildly positive reception. People yearn for a modern day Micro Machines and this seemed like the answer. Whilst it didn't win any major awards, it was a step in the right direction. Tabletop Racing World Tour on Xbox One is the most complete version of this game, encompassing all of the extras and the DLC that hindered the earlier versions on Steam and PS4. The eye-popping graphics are crisp and clear with a vibrant colour palette, all running at 1080p 60. The stubby little toy cars look the part and include close facsimiles to camper vans, VW Beetles, Porsches, pickup trucks and Dodge Chargers. There are 16 fully tunable miniaturized racing cars to choose from and 32 different tracks to race on. However, these tracks are variation of around 8 central tracks, and with over 140 events to work through, they can get a little bit repetitive in the second half of the game. As players race their way through the events to accumulate riches, they can unlock and upgrade the different cars. There is also around 540 stars to collect across all the various races. These stars are unlocked by racing through the comprehensive championship mode and a multitude of special events. Game types include the classic race situation, there's battle modes, there's the fastest lap and there's hot pursuit, all to keep you interested. For the older hardcore gamer, the short lap times and the repetitive tracks will begin to grate after a while. But for younger, more casual players, the commonality will give a certain level of comfort. The power-ups in TTR World Tour are the usual fare of weaponry found in most kart races. Missiles, bombs and oil slicks all feature, and whilst they have made some attempt to make these a little bit more toy themed, such as battery acid instead of oil, cherry bombs instead of mines, and toy looking missiles, there was definitely a missed opportunity here to be more creative. Thankfully, the handling and the gameplay is heaps of fun. Your initial run through around the amateur events feels fast enough to get used to the controls, but once you have fully upgraded a car or moved on to the pro circuits, the game gets much faster and much more difficult. My biggest issue with the game, however, was the lack of an overhead camera view. Tabletop Racers was always going to be compared to Micro Machines, so it would have been really nice to strum those strings of nostalgia by playing the game from above. Thankfully, I won't have to wait too long for this nostalgic hit, as Micro Machines World Series is also coming out later in 2017. Tabletop Racing World Tour can be extended further by going online and racing 8 other players in a different battle and different races to become the ultimate tabletop racer. The inclusion of all the DLC is particularly good for this, as it means that all the players all start with all the same cars and all the same tracks, and it's all a level playing field. The Xbox One version also brings voice support should you want to mention players' family after winning a race. For the budget price, this game looks, sounds and plays great. However, the repetitive tracks will put off some hardcore gamers after a few hours. The various game types do try and keep things interesting, yet the weapons could have been more creative. I can see this being a staple for younger players as it's fun, it's quick and it's easy to get into. However, I might just have to turn off the voice comms before letting my kids play online. Sterling work from Playrise Digital, and I look forward to the definitive third instalment that will address all the minor little niggles and complaints, For only £15 on the Xbox Store, this is a welcome addition to the Xbox One's already fantastic racing lineup. So there you have it. If this video has been useful, then please give it a like, give it a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend about it, and I'll be back with another video very soon.
Finish him!